There's something about being a mother. Why is it so hard to defeat a mother? To make her surrender. I wrote a promise to my son, and it's one of the things I say, I will never surrender. I will never give up.
Lucy Diaz is searching for her son, Luis, who disappeared 6 years ago.
Pero yo lo que quiero ver donde esté blandito. Ahí está muy duro, Fidel. This is the way that, we search for the possibility of a grave, because once we hit on the ground, like usually 1.5 meters, 2 meters deep, we smell this bar, and then if it comes out it smells like like a dead body.
This is a skill you've developed now, to be able to smell for dead bodies.
Yeah. And sometimes not only the smell. Once I was hammering this, and I started to hear like a rattle underneath, because it was like not exactly breaking the bone, but it was making a noise because it was rubbing against the bone. And there was a body.
You think it's possible that right here underneath our feet there's a mass grave?
Very likely. Here in Veracruz, it's extremely likely. Uy, esto huele.
The state of Veracruz is known as Mexico's graveyard, with more than 200 mass graves uncovered here.
I'm sitting here, I'm watching you guys, mothers, do this work, but you had a bunch of cops over here standing around just watching you.
Yeah.
Why aren't they doing this? Isn't it the job of the police to investigate crimes and find bodies?
It is. But this is Mexico, don't forget. Keep that in mind. All your questions can be answered with that. This is Mexico.
Mexico is a country at war with itself. Violence has reached record levels this year.
This has been the deadliest year in Mexico in more than 2 decades.
Drug cartels waging open gun battles in the streets.
Authorities say a heavily armed drug cartel ambushed the military.
At least 3 women and 6 children were killed during an ambush in northern Mexico.
Tourist destinations degenerating into chaos.
Inside that cooler, we're told there is a human head.
As a result of this carnage, there are now, by conservative estimates, at least 40,000 missing people in Mexico. In the face of a government that is overwhelmed, under-resourced, and riddled with corruption, the task of searching often falls to the most committed, thousands of mothers all over this country. Lucy Diaz was leading a comfortable life as a college professor and mother of 3, married to a successful businessman. Everything changed one night in June of 2013.
I don't even know what happened to him. At this point, 5.5 years, and I have no idea of his whereabouts or what happened. I know that he was kidnapped, but so far that's all I know.
At the time, her 29-year-old son, Luis, was working as a popular DJ in the city of Veracruz. He was a staple at weddings and local parties.
And he was so passionate about his music, and then something like this happened. I just wish I could, give him my life.
One night, Lucy got a nervous call from her son's girlfriend saying she hadn't heard from him in a couple of days. Lucy called one of her son's employees, who promised her that Luis was simply busy at a gig.
And then on Monday, I said there's something wrong, because he knows I get crazy whenever I cannot get in touch with him. The next day, I waited all day. But then, like around 8 o'clock, I knew. I knew for a fact that it was terribly wrong. Something was terribly wrong. And that's the beginning of this trip to hell that doesn't have an end.
The police did talk to that employee who assured Lucy her son was okay, and it turned out he was lying.
He broke down and said, no, somebody kidnapped him. I was in the office and he was in his bedroom, and I saw them come in.
Lucy also says that same employee sold Luis's phone after he was kidnapped.
Is he in jail? No, it's free as a bird.
He's just walking around.
Yeah. Who's in jail? Me. I'm in the worst jail there is.
Last year, a potentially huge break in this case. The police found Luis's motorcycle and the individual who was riding the stolen bike. Hopeful that this could finally lead to answers, Lucy followed up with authorities in Veracruz.
Did you bring him in, at least to interrogate him? And they said, not yet. They still haven't interrogated him.
And do you think it's laziness?
No, I think it's corruption.
Corruption?
Yes. They don't really want to solve the problem. They don't want to find the person.
But just to be clear, was your son in any way connected to the drug trade or to the criminal underground?
No, and I can say that because, I mean, in almost 6 years of investigations, the only one that has been investigated all over is him. They don't leave any privacy to the victim.
Unwilling to accept investigative inaction, Lucy became a very public critic of local authorities, a risky move here in this deeply corrupt country. Lucy has undergone, she says, an inner transformation from depression to anger to finally something much larger. She has now organized hundreds of other mothers who are also desperately searching for their children here in Veracruz. We find them raising money by selling tamales at a local carnival. A sorority of anguish, mothers united around a wrenching mission.
Estoy buscando a mi hijo. Él se llama Lucio Segura Maldonado. Él se me desapareció el día 2 de septiembre del 2015.
Yo busco a mi hijo Saúl Alejandro Ruiz Pardo. Él era una persona de 38 años.
Yo busco a mi hijo Roberto Carlos Caso Castro, que desapareció el 24 de diciembre del 2011. Ya se llevaron nuestra vida. Ya se llevaron nuestra paz y nuestra tranquilidad. Espérenme un tantito, ¿sí? Ahorita lo que pasamos, vamos a ir despacio y ya usted conoce la camioneta, ¿no? Okay, sí, gracias.
The money they raise is used to chase down leads they gather from anonymous tipsters and then launch their search missions. Rosalia Castro is one of Lucy's staunchest allies.
Mira, cuando vamos rumbo a la búsqueda llevamos sentimientos encontrados. Porque queremos encontrar. Pero a la vez no queremos encontrar a los nuestros ahí. Sí.
It would not be the first time these mothers have found remains. Just 10 miles from this dump, more than 300 bodies were exhumed at a mass grave.
All the moms say, till my dying day. It's like we're going to fight for our children. It's just nothing going to stop us.
This struggle has taken over Lucy's life. She quit her job as a professor and now balances her time between working on behalf of all of the mothers and doggedly pursuing her son's case. We take Lucy's case to Carla Quintana, the recently appointed national commissioner in charge of searching for the disappeared.
This number, 40,000 people, it's only the official number we have.
So it could be double or triple that?
That would be my guess. We know that lots of disappearances are not taken to authorities. They are afraid of the same authorities in some cases, of the organized crime, the cartels.
Quintana is surprisingly blunt for a government official.
How have we gotten to the point in this country where it's mothers who have to bear the injury of losing their children and then have to endure the insult of being forced to go then do the searches themselves?
Well, I think it's because the government, they don't care much about who has been disappeared. There is this stigma in Mexico that we also have to fight, that if someone is disappeared, it's because they were doing something and they were involved in something, which is not true.
We've been following the case of Lucy Diaz, and she's perhaps the most prominent mom involved in the searches. And it appears that there are very clear leads in this case that are just not being followed. And I wonder if somebody like Lucy can't get the police to do anything. How can anybody expect any action on their case?
Mexican justice system it's very poor, specifically regarding to people that are disappeared. We only have 30 decisions, judicial decisions in Mexico.
So sentencing somebody for making somebody else disappear, that's only happened 30 times?
Yep.
So essentially, in this country, you can kill somebody, bury them in a shallow grave, and get away with it.
Well, I'm a public servant, but I would have to say yes.
With the official in charge of searching for the missing failing to provide much hope, we decide to go all the way to the top, to the president of Mexico. Would you commit here and now to using your new power to taking a look at her case to see if you can move it forward? When we come back.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.